If you've ever bought a synth on impulse only to realize it doesn't actually fit your workflow, you know that sinking feeling. I've been there, dropping cash on gear that looks cool on paper but ends up gathering dust because the keys feel like a toy or the routing options feel like a puzzle with missing pieces. That's why I spent a few weeks with the Novation Summit, and honestly, it feels like the rare synth that punches above its weight without asking you to compromise your entire setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What surprised me most is how this synth handles real-world use without feeling like a toy. The two-part multi-timbral engine means you can split or layer sounds across two completely independent synth engines, one handling bass, the other handling leads or pads without losing polyphony. That's not just a spec on paper, it's the kind of thing that matters when you're playing a gig and need both parts to stay in tune and in time. The three new Oxford oscillators per voice give you subtractive, wavetable, and FM-style options all in one box, which is a huge deal if you're tired of bouncing between different synths just to get the right texture. The keybed is where this synth actually feels premium in a way that matters. It's a 5-octave semi-weighted affair with velocity sensitivity and aftertouch, which isn't something you see on every 61-key synth in this price range. When you're playing expressive leads or complex chords, the keys respond in a way that feels organic, not mushy. That might sound like a small detail, but if you've ever played a synth with a flimsy keybed for hours, you know how much it can ruin your session. Where the Summit really shines is in its routing flexibility. The stereo audio in lets you feed external gear like a guitar or another synth into the onboard effects and AUX outputs, which is perfect if you're using it as a centerpiece in a larger setup. You're not just limited to the internal sounds, you can process external signals through the same high-quality reverbs and delays that come with the synth. That's a feature I didn't expect to use as much as I did, but it ended up being a game-changer for live performances where I needed to blend hardware and software seamlessly. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. The Summit is a deep synth, and that depth can be overwhelming if you're not ready to dive into the manual. The menu system isn't the most intuitive, and you'll likely find yourself digging through layers of submenus to tweak a single parameter. If you're someone who just wants to turn it on and play, this might frustrate you. But if you're willing to put in the time to learn its layout, the payoff is worth it. Another thing to consider is the polyphony. At 16 voices, it's not the most voice-heavy synth out there, especially if you're stacking layers or using unison modes. If you're planning to run massive supersaw chords or huge layered pads, you might hit the limit faster than you'd like. That said, for most real-world use cases, whether you're playing live, sketching ideas, or layering a few parts, it's more than enough. Who should buy this synth? If you're a producer or performer who needs a versatile, two-part engine with high-quality oscillators and solid keybed, the Summit is a smart buy. It's especially great if you're tired of bouncing between different synths just to get the right sound. The routing options and audio in feature make it a strong centerpiece for a larger setup, and the aftertouch adds a layer of expressiveness that's hard to find elsewhere in this price range. Who should skip it? If you're a beginner looking for something plug and play, this might not be the synth for you. The learning curve is real, and the menu system can be a hurdle. Similarly, if you need maximum polyphony for huge layered sounds, you might want to look elsewhere. And if you're not planning to use the external routing features, you might not get your money's worth out of the Summit's strengths. At the end of the day, the Summit feels like a synth that respects your time and your ears. It's not the flashiest option out there, but it's the kind of tool that grows with you as your skills do. If you're serious about your craft and willing to put in the work to unlock its potential, it's a purchase you won't regret. Check it out using the link in the description if you want to see the latest details on Amazon.